In our blinding eye disease project, which we also call the Vision Research Project, we're aiming to understand the causes of various blinding genetic eye conditions and then in that way work towards development of treatments for these conditions. We are seeing the patients in the hospital, understanding about their phenotype, so the particular features that are affecting them from the vision point of view, taking samples so that we can do the genomics and understand what is the genetic cause of that problem. Then sometimes we have to do quite detailed studies, which we call functional genomic studies, where we have to convert those cells into stem cells to make retinal tissues in the dish, like retinal organoids or retinal pigment epithelium, so other tissue of the eye, to be able to do functional studies to understand how that's causing the problem. We have to work very closely, often, with our ophthalmology colleagues to interpret what those genetic findings are meaning, so that then we can work towards developing best possible therapy approaches. And sometimes that can be a therapy that might already be available in the world, and so then we want to bring that here to Australia for our patients. Sometimes it might be a very new therapy that we need to enact in a clinical trial. And then also we are working on a pipeline for our own novel therapies for some of these conditions where no therapies are currently available. The only option at the moment would be that they progressively lose more and more vision and eventually become blind. What we're aiming to develop then is a whole program that can work towards treatment of these blinding eye conditions for these patients. We really do have a huge number of collaborators. Really, it probably starts with the patients, actually. So the people that we see, the patients are obviously very engaged in this project, because for most of them, there's actually often not a diagnosis, not a molecular genetic diagnosis, and often not a therapy. We're also then collaborating the Luminesce Alliance, Sydney Children's Hospital Network, Children's Medical Research Institute, University of Sydney is also involved, and then Macquarie University we're also collaborating with for our health economics project. The Luminesce Alliance funding is particularly focused on the health economics aspect of our project. And so the health economics project is focused on understanding what the underlying costs of blindness and vision impairment are, particularly related to genetic forms of blinding eye diseases, which is the ones that we work on. And this really hasn't been done in a systematic and sustained manner to look at the costs across a lifetime, because often these conditions affect children, and so then that's a lifetime of blindness that they have to deal with, both from a family and a personal point of view, but also for the society. And that really has not been quantified, so that we can put arguments forward in terms of sustainable funding for the genetic testing and the genomic testing, the functional genomic studies that we need to do sometimes to understand the causes of those problems, and then also the genetic therapies that we want to use and want to develop.